Marcelo, you were invited to the State of the Union as
Yeah.
Representative Seth Moulton's guest. How were you feeling when you initially got that invitation?
I was super excited. I was able to talk to my coach and I found out that it's an opportunity that not a lot of people get to have. It's really rare. So I was really excited.
And when you got there, when you got to the chambers, describe your feeling there. Like, what were you seeing? What were you hearing? Like, what was that like? Because to your point, there are a lot of people who will never get to experience it in person. They will just be able to
Yeah.
see it on TV.
I was truly starstruck. There's a lot of people around me that I was able to talk to, a lot of nice people, good people. Um, it was incredible. I got to see a bunch of different people. I got to meet different representatives and to see them talk in person and see Donald Trump talk in person and give his speech to me was interesting.
Now, Marcelo, I did do my homework, so I know that you have political aspirations. Can you talk to us about where your aspirations to go into politics, where does that come from?
I want to do whatever I can to help the immigrants in my community and immigrants in America. And that, for the most part, falls in line of the Democrats. I truly believe that if I continue speaking out and helping being a voice, we could potentially make up a bill and be able to pass out a law that can help immigrants.
Now, you had the opportunity to meet with other Congress members and share your story with them. What kind of response did you get?
So I was actually really interested to find out that I talked to Troy Nels. He is a Republican. And he's actually a pretty funny guy. And I ended up telling him my story. Although I was nervous that it would backlash and he would go against what I said, he actually said, "You're a true American." It was really interesting to see that the Republican Party, some people, if you just explain your story, get them to understand and feel empathetic, they'll change their minds or at least budge. You know what I mean?
And I think bigger picture, it's like an important reminder that you have to interact with and listen to and learn from people on
Yeah.
a case by case basis and not just slap a label or a title on an entire
Of
group of
course.
people.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, some people are willing to understand. They're willing to be open-minded, you know. It's definitely something in the media that's like the Democrats are this, the Democrats are that, and the Republicans are this and that, but it's actually a whole different story, you know.
Now, the Department of Homeland Security, they created a post calling out Democrats who brought immigrants as guests to the State of the Union. How were you feeling when Moulton's chief of staff had to like come take you out of chambers and
Yeah.
bring him to his office? Like, what was going through your mind?
At first I was pretty nervous. She didn't tell me what it was in the beginning because there was a lot of people around us. So we were kind of just running through the state capitol. And at first I was pretty nervous, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm always ready to fight. I'm willing to keep going forward and say what I have to say and help as much as I can. So that was really it for me, you know. We went back to his office and we watched a little bit more, and that was mostly the night.
Okay. And even right now, as you're explaining it to me, you're very calm and level-headed. And I think it would be really hard for a lot of people to have that calmness and level-headedness. What allows you to be so calm and level-headed with all that has happened?
Yeah, I'm very confident in my faith with God. I believe that He has control over my life. So whatever happens is under His control. It makes me feel at ease and it makes it easier for me to do my job and it makes it easier for me to speak out and say what I have to say. I'm very grateful that Seth invited me here. It's definitely it means a lot to me. He's getting a lot of backlash for it, which is very disappointing because he didn't drag me here like ICE officers dragged me to a detention center. You know what I mean? I decided to be here. I decided to fight. I decided to work hard. So I'm really disappointed on the backlash he's getting, especially because he'd be an awesome senator for our state. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, you know, the more people decide to be less ignorant and try to listen to the story and learn that in the background we were all doing checks and seeing if it was possible for me to be here, seeing if it was okay. And my immigration officer said it was okay. Everyone said that it was okay. Um, and even I don't know her name. There's someone that works for ICE. She said if you're under an asylum case that you are protected and you're legally in America. So to see the DHS post that tweet really affected me because it's like you're kind of being a hypocrite on what you're saying. You know what I mean?
And now, for everybody who has been following with you, I believe all of this started last summer. I want to say it was last June. Can you give us an update on where everything is right now? At least what you are able to say.
hmm As of right now, everything's going fine. I was able to apply for an asylum. Everything's going pretty well. Um, I've been able to work through with my lawyer, and that's kind of what it is.
Okay. Now, for anyone that will watch this interview later that may agree with DHS and the message that they posted, what is your message to those people?
Stop being so ignorant. You should choose to educate yourself and try to learn a little more about stories. A lot of immigrants come here because their country isn't giving them what they need and they need to find a better life. And when they come here, a lot of them actually try to do their best to learn the language, to learn what it means to be an American. But the issue is that it's been 30 years since Congress has passed a law that has been able to help out immigrants with citizenship. And we don't have that pathway, and that's something that a lot of people don't understand. They just say, "Hey, why are you in America and you don't try to be a citizen? You don't try to learn the language, etc." A lot of us actually do. I would speak for my parents. They do their best to learn the language. They actually take classes to learn the language, but they have no pathway to get citizenship. And that's what it is for a lot of immigrants. So what we do is we pay taxes, we do our best to contribute to the community, and that's all we can do, until Congress passes a law that can help us, that's all we can do. So don't be so ignorant. Try to be more educated, try to learn and figure out that a lot of people have circumstances that make life harder for them and have empathy for them.
Now, is there a message that you have for people too who are inspired by the fact that you attended the State of the Union, your optimism, your attitude, the things that you have said since everything started last June, and maybe they want to be an ally to immigrant communities, but maybe they don't know where to start. What would you say to someone who wants to help but doesn't know exactly what that looks like?
As of right now, it's definitely really hard to say specifically what we can do. I've been working and learning myself to try to find ways, and it would definitely be great if Democrats won midterm. That would help a lot in being able to do some things. Um, but as of right now, do whatever you can to help people in need. You know what I mean? It really sucks that we're in this situation, but if we can continue fighting, keep speaking out, and keep working hard, things will get better.
Is there anything you want to make sure that you share that I didn't ask you specifically?
I think it's really just that. Instead of being ignorant to things in society, try to get a little more educated. Don't go with what everybody says. Um, because at the end of the day, like a lot of people see black and white, but there actually is a lot of gray. You know what I mean? Um, a lot of people just say, "Oh, they're aliens, they're illegal, they shouldn't be here." But there's a lot more to that, We're humans, and that's where you should actually start taking things seriously when it's humans. You know what I mean? It's the same race as you, the same people as you. You know what I mean? So I believe that's truly important to for people to know.
Well, Marcelo, we really thank you for taking the time to
Of
talk
course.
to us. And we're glad that you were still able to enjoy your visit to the State of the Union, despite a little incident there.
hmm
But we really appreciate it.